How is this nation? What is it true? One, they invested in all critical areas of development. They invested in education. If you look at their literacy rate today, they are above 90, three of them. We are still hovering around 50%. They invested in health and they invested in pulling people out of the poverty through consistent economic policies that were pursued vigorously. They fought corruption. Go there and improve the laws in even what you can call intangible assets of insecurity, dealing with security issues, dealing with law and order, ensuring that there is more to do with it in terms of industrialization, productive and everything. So you look at it, what are they doing today to stabilize the economy? Nigeria with over 200 million people, we barely make 10% of Vietnamese exports or Indonesia. We don't want to go to China when it comes to export. We're not talking about this. We barely make 10% of what we do. And you look at it like I was in Indonesia. We have all it takes and everything. You see, we have become one of the hungriest countries of the world today. We're 109 of our 128 countries are measured. And today, we have over 65% of our arable land all cultivated because it's not a productive country. Everybody is waiting for one month to put it up. Everybody wants product. And there's so many things that in the Commonwealth meeting about 2 weeks ago, I was in Bangladesh. Bangladesh lives on 148,000 square kilometers of land. Nigeria is 923,000 square kilometers. So Nigeria is over six times Bangladesh in terms of land space. And if you consider Bangladesh, there are 167 million people, and we have about 200 million people. So there's more space and everything. But Bangladesh produces 57 to 60 million tons of rice. Nigeria does not produce 10% of that.
I said, make it full screen.
The only export that makes me to us today is oil, which we are even still before this. That's the only thing we have. So Nigeria can make money. Huge amount of money from agricultural export and product. Our biggest state, we say this every day, is Naija State, 76.3 thousand square kilometers. Father, it doesn't feed itself, it doesn't do anything. It wastes for whatever it's going to share every week. When a tiny place like Netherlands has 3,000 square kilometers, so Naija State is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands.
Okay, stop.
They did export in 2020 of agricultural products, $122 billion. That is 3 times what we earn from oil. Because we're not product. We have a place like Borno State where we have Sambisa Forest, giving us all the problem of insecurity. Sambisa Forest is about 60,000 square kilometers. Years ago, that is 3 times the size of Israel. At 22,000 multiplied 366 plus 60 is comparable. But it's become a problem for us when it's an agricultural that can be used. And you can
I'm
see
grabbing
this
it from my
everywhere.
page.
I've been to
I'm
Morocco
going to
and
your
drove
site.
from Casablanca to the Egypt port. On both sides, it's all agricultural. And I do the same drive in Nigeria, an empty land. The people were hungry because they don't want to work. So I can go on and on. When I did this study, I could see what is wrong. And this can be solved by leadership. What you are seeing in Nigeria and probably in Africa is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, where you've hired incompetent leaders without capacity, without compassion, commitment to do anything, and turn the whole place into a crime scene, where people are just stealing public resources without adding any value. Because even different, if they're adding value and stealing from, when you're just stealing without adding any value, place where it has become unproductive, because you could see that there's nothing happening, no value added, no manufacturing, there's nothing, everything is just there. So how do we solve this? You need to change your leadership recruitment. We cannot go on the method where we recruit people today based on maybe I'm from this place, from that place. Because yes, Nigeria has many tribes. They don't have more tribes in Indonesia. They don't have more tribes than Indonesia. And no tribe have ever, I know that buys bread cheaper in Nigeria, or buy food cheaper, or get anything cheaper. People have been recruited in Nigeria based on religion. No religion buys bread cheaper. Because Indonesia is a country with the highest number of Muslims living in Indonesia. And I went with 2 Muslims. And I went around the whole country and I asked them, did you see any Almajiri here? Did you see anybody begging here? No. Why? They invested in education. The more a country is educated, the more they build. It is not something that is difficult to know. Did you see anybody? So we went around, and what are they doing? They invest in education. You can look it up and see. All the countries I mentioned and invest at least 3% of their GDP annually in health and in education. Indonesia have about 90% health insurance. I can tell that health insurance in Indonesia is probably more efficient than it is in the Western world. They have private health care in all the villages, manned by competent community health officers with 2 nurses and doctors visiting. Nigeria have less than 10%, about 5% health insurance, with over 70% of the health facility, the community health center, not functional, with nobody to manage. So it depends on where you are, if you're sick. The only thing you can do is to pray to God. That's why there's more prayers and dealing with reality. Because there's nowhere to go to. And that is the crisis we face in the nation. But because the process has been hijacked by, I won't say bandits, but in so many others, you hardly can take it back without the people understanding that they have a role to play in this in order for us to take it back. My children, foreigners, everything. So for me, like I said, it's just to give you an idea of my own little contribution in my experience and traveling around and seeing that the problem is leadership. All of us are a leader myself. So all of us are involved. I'm not trying to blame A or B or C and everything. I'm just saying that we can see I've been part of it and I've been an entrepreneur who started business from scratch. I've been in the corporate world in Nigeria, but I've been in the public space. So I know that what is lacking is visionary leadership that can focus and prioritize on doing what is right, ensuring the country is secure. Let nobody tell the country can be secure. Non-state actors cannot take over a state unless it's secure. Same applies on the rule of law. These are intangible assets. Rule of law actually contributes more to the GDP of the Western world than any other thing. And this is not sophisticated. It's something that we can do. So that's my conversation. I remember telling you yesterday that I left Nigeria on Tuesday to Rome. And then, of course, quickly went to, as a Christian Catholic, went to pay my respects to our Holy Father, in Rome yesterday. Having the opportunity to meet for 3 times, a member of the Educational Council, and then immediately ran to the airport, got a flight to New York, and then from New York arrived there midnight yesterday. And when I met him, I said, "Well, what am I going to tell them? If they have found a professor to do the lecture and listen." So mine is just to tell you what my experience is, and then listen to you and learn, because you have great ideas. You live in the first world, I'm living in the third world. Now maybe to the end clarification, maybe I'll go back. Well, so it just learn from you what it takes to bring another world. But I think, above all, leadership. Thank you, and God bless you.
It was a wonderful testimony, very provocative, very intriguing, obviously based on your own experience. So I'm going to throw out the first question, and then we'll open this up. When you think about where Nigeria is now, and where it could go, based on the realities of Nigerian abilities, Nigerian talents, current state of Nigerian institutions, what would that process of change look like? I mean, we can think about a single administration or 2 terms of leadership really making a difference, given even the baseline today for all of the channels. What would that kind of new bargain and new trajectory look like?
Well, let me attempt to make comment without saying I clearly understood your question. But quite frankly, for me, with all these things I've said, Nigeria remains one country that have incredible potential for turnaround. We have, just like I always say about Africa, I'll be using Africa and Nigeria, have immense potential in terms of natural resources, human capital. I know it needs to be trained, but we have young age, youthful age, 60% of our age, are youthful people, very dynamic, very talented, if pushing the right way and everything, and all that. And in terms of governance, it's just to organize, like I said, competent leadership based on doing the right things. And I believe our political setup today, I've always said, we don't need first 8 years, we don't need second term, because I think it's part of our problem. We need people to just come for a single term. For me, 5 years. I believe whatever you can do. Yes, you might not be able to do whatever you think you're going to do in 5 years. That's what people say. But I say in 5 years, you can show the right direction if you mean well. Clearly, and observe. And I know that in the first 2-3 years, you can take those decisions that can make the place beyond that. We need to change our financial system and bring in a system that will allow. We went too far going into American system of capitalism, it's all governance system. We need a moderate side where we can be like what is happening in Indonesia or in South Africa, where we have proportional representation in the assembly, where we have opportunity of the president to be answerable properly to the assembly. Today, if you make Peter president, I can decide not to talk to anybody. I can just hire some, maybe media talks to be answering and calling anybody's name in social media and everything. So nobody, if the Prime Minister of India travels today, they go and check. Every Indian knows where he is at all times. Before he leaves the country, he'll tell you where he's going. When he arrives there, he'll say he arrived there. There's a conversation we'll do that. So is the president of Indonesia. On that we don't know. Everywhere he is. But I can tell you, I don't know where our leaders are, what they do. President said he's going for a retreat for 2 weeks. After that, he extended. Nobody's sure where the retreat extended for years, but they extended 1 week now. When you chose to be in public life, the public must know where you are. You can stay in your private life. Today, I tell people wherever I'm going. When I arrived in Rome yesterday, people knew I was in Rome. They know I'm here now. And they know I'm going to live here to California tomorrow. Because you choose a public life. I can choose to go back to my family and decide over to know where I am. But you must be answerable to the people. That's why we need to change some of our political trajectory to have the profit.
We have a very engaged audience today. I'm going to open this up. What we'll do is we'll take 3 questions at a time, and we'll give Mr. Obi the opportunity to answer, and then we'll do another 3. So, questions. I see you, and I see you there, and I see this lady here. So I recognize 3 people. Who's the first one? Yeah. And please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi everyone. I am Awal Abdullahi. I'm a second year MBA student here at Hopkins. It's very nice to finally meet you, Mr. Obi. I've been a huge fan. I don't think I've ever been starstruck by Nigerian politicians. I think I was this time around, and I think I get it why I am starstruck by you, just watching you talk and just seeing you lay out the problems of Nigeria. I feel like you have a good system understanding of what the issues are. But having the understanding is one thing. I feel like implementing it in Nigeria. Implementing it in Nigeria is another thing because Nigeria is a very frustrating country to lead, especially. But my question is, you have these beautiful ideas on how you want to fix the problem. How do you plan on fixing it? Because Mr. Peter Obi is just one man. There's someone that recently wrote an article about how if you swap the House of Reps and our senators and our president over and over again, and you bring random Nigerians on the street and you give them that power, they are going to do exactly the same thing that is happening right now, because there's the belief that everybody is waiting for their time to plunder the system and all of that. What are you going to do differently? How are you going to recruit this supported good candidate? Because at the end of the day, I just feel like it's the same thing over and over again. People come, Buhari came with his wave of change. Some of us believed him and got duped. And it's just the same thing over and over again. So what are you going to do differently beyond just the good, nice ideas and a good understanding of the problem?
Good, thank you. Over here in the white.
Hello, my name is Tochiu. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, by way of Imo State. My question is, we keep talking about the system, Nigeria, and obviously the problems in Africa. I think the best thing for our countries to have a constitutional rewrite, I think that we need to put our destiny in our own hands and not the hands of anyone else. So I'm asking you, are you suggesting that we should rewrite our constitution to fix our system, or how can we effectively fix our system in Nigeria?
Right, thank you.
Effectively fix our system in Nigeria, and we should rewrite our constitution.
Yeah, should we rewrite the Constitution? And then over here.
Thank you, Mr. Obi. My name is Ama Ismana. I'm an MPH MBA student here at Hopkins. I'm from Ghana, I'm not from Nigeria. But I came here because we're all looking for a message of hope. And we heard a lot about you during the last election in Nigeria. One of the critical things we heard about you is that you're a man of integrity. My question is very similar to our question. One man of integrity may not be able to change the system alone. How have you built a critical mass of people who believe the things that you believe and are willing to put in the work to build the country? And I'm asking this because, like me and other young people who know it will soon be our turn to lead our countries, what can we learn from your journey in finding those people and creating the army that's going to make that change? Thank you.
Thank you. Admirably clear and concise and brief questions. Thank you, please.
Thank you. You know, I've been asked this question very often. How will one person change the system? I can tell you one person can change the system, even in America. So, let me be honest with you. Everywhere you've seen change all over the world started with one person, who knew well. You can study it everyone. Whether it's, I don't compare that, but it's what comparable. Whether you look at Singapore today, or you look at China, you look everywhere in the world, one person who means one, who understands first. Because like you said, you have to understand the problem first. It's like going to the doctor. And the doctor doesn't know what this is all about. He's going to waste all your time because he doesn't know what you have to understand the problem. You have to be determined. That's why I said I have been an entrepreneur. And I've been in the what they can call corporate space. And I've been in the public space. When I became governor of Anambra State, I give you that because you see, when I became governor of Anambra State, I've never worked in government for 1 day. Not one, they never had anything to do with government. People like King, who are those who made money, I never had anything to do with government. I was in a board meeting. I and the doctor doesn't know what this is all about. He's gonna waste all your time because he doesn't know it. You have to understand the problem. You have to be determined. That's why I say I have been an entrepreneur. And I've been in the what they can call corporate space. And I've been in the public space. When I became governor of Anambra State, let me give you example because you see, when I became governor of Anambra State, I've never worked in government for one day. Not one day, never had anything to do with government. People like King, who are those who made me, I never had anything to do with government. I was in a board meeting, I shared on Fidelity Bank, then young man, and they said they declared me governor. And I arrived there, first time, of course, we had issues with Anambra State then. My predecessor had issues, so the government house was burnt. So there was no office of the governor. The governor's board was burnt, so there was no place for the governor to live. There was nothing, and after swearing, they said, so where's the government house? Where is this? There was nothing. I didn't have the privilege of anybody handing me over because my predecessor had issues and he had to leave. So nobody gave me a piece of paper. So I called all the people who are working in government. Can I have your plan for education, health, this, that? There was none. Immediately I created Ministry of Planning and Budgeting. So how do you execute? What is your budget and everything? I created that ministry and said, I want us to know this. And I said, listen, for us to do this, we must prioritize what is the, since luckily for us, we had the UN had developed Millennium Development Goals, and we said, okay, let's not go to some. Let's not drop this as our vision. Let's develop a strategy for delivering all the 8 goals simultaneously. So we developed what we call an Anambra Integrated Development Strategy, which allowed us to pursue issues. Number one was poverty, extreme poverty. We did a study. We were the first to do statistical record of poverty in Nigeria. You know, all this is not things you can verify for statistical record. We did that study and found out that the biggest thing affecting poverty was people in the rural area not having access to sell their goods and all that. And then we looked at the education. Anambra was number 20 something in WAEC, NICO, and everything. We looked at health. We didn't even, we're talking about primary health care, where we didn't have one single school of nursing or midwifery accredited in the entire state. So all this planning brought out all this. And we said, how are we going to implement it? We didn't have money. So it became, how do we chop off money? That's how I shut down. Anambra then we had a lodge, governor's lodge in Abuja. The governor doesn't live in Abuja. He doesn't have it. So I shut it down, shut down Lagos. We have several offices like Office of First Lady. It was an additional confusion all over the place. We shut it down and everything happened. I had lived in my house with my wife and we're very close. And nobody elected her. So I didn't know what we should create an office and buy a convent and everything. You know, so we started shutting down everywhere to say we must save money on everything. Even the civil servants, there was no ministry. There was no secretariat when I started. The one ministry is in this place, one is in this place, one is in all scattered all over the state. So we said, we must do this. So we started prioritizing governance, started rebuilding this and that, started saving money, started doing this. If you look at my impeachment, I was removed from office twice. Governor, if you look at my first impeachment, you go and read the item of impeachment. Number one was repairing that my office, I said it was bought. The budget was 298 million naira, and I used 43,200,000 to do everything. That was the first thing. They said I didn't do it through the process. Number two was my own repairing my own build, my own lodge for 200, and if the budget was 483 million, I used 81 million to do it. So it became a problem. So everywhere became, so you can. And when you start it, I found so many people, again, recruitment, like you said, there's so many good Nigerians who are willing to work. I can tell you that. All you need to have a leader who is ready to do it, and they'll follow. If you talk about corruption, people talk about corruption every day. I say, oh, it's difficult to fight corruption. It's not true. If you're not stealing, your wife and children are not, you reduce it by 50%. Quote me anywhere. I've seen it. Because you be the first person to steal and other people will join. If you're not stealing, you will not have a head of service called Ngozi Meli for me. She's from Onitsha. When I contested for presidency last 2023, she wrote an article which she titled Stinginess as a Development Strategy. because when I came, every day she comes to my office, put her and cried and said, Peter, every civil servant is unhappy. Everybody is unhappy with you. Same thing happens when I go to Abuja. The president will even tell me, people are not happy with you. And I asked the president, I never promised anybody happiness. I'm sure what I promised them. I didn't want happiness. You go to the entertainers. There's people who already their job to do it. Mine is to do what is right. But what happened? When I started clearing the backlog of salaries, pensions, gratuities, you were like, where are you getting the money from? I said, it was the money that used to waste here and there and everything that I would have saved, and we're paying this because we're paying people. So you can get people. I arrested the people. 75% of those who start with me as commissioners never campaigned with me. In fact, I never met my chief of staff till I became governor. Never met her before. But I can tell you she was very strong. Never, and I can go on and on. Commissioner for finance, all this. I never met them. But they were very strong people. Because they came, not just recommended, working with them, I could see the difference. So there's so many people, let nobody tell you that if you bring people from the streets in Nigeria, they will be the same. It's not true. They need, that's why leadership is important. A leader inspires. It builds trust. So people can say, this is a man. If you bring something to my chief of staff and say, sign it, he will tell you, have you investigated the price? Are you sure what you're talking here? Because this man is going to phone round now and find out how much they are selling this thing and come back and tell you this thing. Don't bring this type of thing to him because he doesn't like this. Don't tell him he's going to commission road because he will tell you how much classroom that will cost for the top on and on. And the same thing happens everywhere. For the changing of the constitution, well, let me be honest with you. People talk about constitutional change or amendment and everything. The constitution as it is today is not as bad as people think. But let's implement what is there today. You know, the constitution is not the reason why people are stealing. Because they want to steal. So we want to have people who mean well first. The constitution is not our problem. The constitution is not why we're rigging an election. No. We had a president that was elected, Yaradua, who on his inaugural day said the process through which I came into office is wrong and he must not allow to continue. That's someone, and he went to it the right thing. Throughout the period he was there, the few elections that were conducted, everything was right. It's just a question of leadership. It is critical. Thank you.
I see somebody back there, and then this lady here, and then over here. Trying to be democratic here, both geographically and yes. And so please identify yourself, and concise questions are welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peter Obi. My name is Chidubem. I am from Ahiazu, Ibise, Imo State, Nigeria. My question for you is, how can a country like Nigeria reclaim sovereignty and economic control from foreign powers like Russia, China, other European countries who finance infrastructure or engage in proxy influence, then impose long-term and exploitive financial and political obligations upon Nigeria?
Thank you. There was one here. Oh, over here, yeah. And then I see this.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adia Kelly. I graduated from SAIS last year, and I'm from a small country that rivals Nigeria. We are just 33 people in the country, Ghana. Yeah, so every time leaders meet and talk about Africa, we hear them talk about GDP and comparing ourselves to places like China, Indonesia, and Vietnam. But I never really hear them talk about the intersection of culture and development. Because these countries we keep comparing ourselves to are countries that have held for their culture and value system very well. Africa now is trying to be globalized in a way that sorry, we kind of want to speak like an American and behave like, say, a Chinese person and all of that. But what are you doing as a leader to ensure that we still uphold those value systems that we had, those family systems we had, and how will that influence development in the future? Thank you.
Thank you. And then over here, I think, on the aisle, yeah. The lady on the aisle, yes. We'll get the other
Thank
gentleman.
you very much.
Yeah.
My name is Ezine Aso. I'm a final year MBA student at Johns Hopkins. I'm really excited to meet you. But I was telling my colleagues that when you were campaigning for president, I was like, if you told me does not win, I'm going to study. And I'm glad that you're here today. You are my motivation to come get a higher education. My question goes in line with, Africa, Nigeria in particular, has a very young and rich youth population. And I don't see so much of the youth playing much in politics and, being a part of the development of our country, probably because of the way the system has been shaped. So what's your plan to incorporate young people? We have a lot of smart talent here. In healthcare, I know a lot of people here in Hopkins are more like healthcare affiliated. But how do you think that young people can participate in Nigerian politics and also do our own part? And my second question would be, what's your message of hope for someone like me who has a dream for Nigeria, but every time I look back, I'm like, can I go back? I want to do something. So what's that message of hope for someone like me who wants or seeks to play in Nigerian politics or healthcare system in the future? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, let me start with you. We'll talk about the issues of foreign powers. And one person who has always maintained, I don't think the issue of foreign powers when it comes to leadership, it doesn't need schools. Nobody can come and take what belongs to you if you're, or come to your house and steal if you're not, if you're awake. If you're doing the right things, why are they not stealing from Asia? Why is our own different? Because there's a collusion with our own people. I come here very often. It will surprise you. No, people ask me about buying house in America. Why would I own a house in America? I'm not in America, and I don't live here. So it is our own people who have decided to be part of that, and then they get a helping hand. Nigerians living in the UK, in the US, UK or Russia, do they do what is wrong here and not get punished? So why would somebody come to your country and do the same thing and get away with it? It is because our people are colluding with them. If you don't, they won't do it. I was governor for 8 years. And I can tell you, no foreigner, nobody, in fact, at the time, like I always tell people, today I hear people say, oh, you want to award this contract? I said, no, I was awarding the contracts to our people. Whether you say it didn't work or it doesn't matter. Somewhere we'll get it right. Let's keep doing that. I always use Innocent to tell them, when Innocent started his vehicle factory, I laid the foundation. And he came to tell me it's completed. I called the president to come and commission it. And I asked him, what are you doing? He said he was only doing passenger cars. I said, can you do buses for schools? He said, yes. I said, I'm ordering you 500 buses. Can you do vehicles for security? He said, yes. I ordered 300. Can you do SUVs for traditional glass? He said, yes. I said, I'm ordering 200. So I ordered 1,000 vehicles. And guess what? When I came back and told both the schools, traditional glass and everybody, they said, no, that is wrong. Now nobody has tested his vehicle. Do I know whether the brakes are working? Do I know in case the people die, in case the children, kill school children, this and I said, well, listen, we will use it. Let those who remain after those who die, but it's this vehicle is what we are going to buy. And I paid him for the 500, for the 1,000 vehicle, 1 year upfront. Say, you do this factory here. We're going to use your vehicles. If anybody dies using them, well, God help. We're going to receive his soul. But this vehicle, till today, none have had accidents. And I've been there for over 10 years. What am I trying to say? We just have to believe in ourselves, do the right thing with ourselves, and don't start blaming another person for our problem. No, I don't believe in it. I don't think so. We should. And then, of course, you talk about culture. Yes. It's the same leadership problem. It's us that believes that, oh, well, sorry, Prof. I'm sure you'll be wondering, why was this man going to different schools? I was actually trying to know whether there's anything different from them. That's why I was going to different schools. I said, okay. At that stage in 1990, in the 90s, I started from 98, I said, where are the 10 best schools? They listed them, Harvard, London School of Economics, Oxford, Cambridge. I said, okay, I'm going to go to all of them. Let me see whether they have two brains. There's something different. And Prof, there's nothing different. So the other one is the choice. The same thing goes with the cultures and everything. You have so many places. Ask myself, there's so many good places to go to Ghana for holidays, for example, experience their culture. There's so many places to go in Nigeria. But guess what happens today? Nigeria said it's going to holidays, is going to Dubai. where there's actually no place of interest except hotel. And it's going to New York. I mean, is there any place of interest in New York with the confusion? But it goes to holidays there. But we have lovely, good sites in Ghana, in Nigeria. Again, you need to make it attractive by making sure it's secure. Because nobody will pay his money to go for where he will lose his life or be kidnapped. So these are things we still have to do in Africa to make it work. I'm sure if we do the right thing, people will come to us. Because we're more competitive, that drives into the sister who was talking about the youth. We have one of the most talented youth. Very ambitious, entrepreneurial and everything. But they need encouragement. It's leadership. Today, I used to tell them that people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, everybody, were able to progress here because people saw what they were doing and gave them loan, gave them support, invested in them. In Nigeria, I can tell you as a young entrepreneur, you will never get loan from anyone. Because if you go to the bank, the only loan you can get is when you bring buildings from your father, your mother, and everything. So all these things there's no encouragement. Even the system is against you. It is a place where even regulatory authorities, taxman, everything can allow me to go free while chasing the poor people on the street. Even police will stop you when you're poor to make sure that even whatever is left of you is taken away. So all these things are things we need to change. I keep saying leadership. If you have the proper leadership, whether as governor, I noticed something happened. In the morning I'm driving because I go to my office early in the morning and I see children just queuing up to pass to go to school. And you see my own drivers who will come. They know these are kids. Just 1 minute, they'll cross. In fact, if they try to cross, the way they will. So I said, no. Driver, this could be your kids. Mine is not there. Yours, I'm sure, is one of these people. What makes it difficult for us to stop for 1 minute for these children to pass? Do you know, at some time, they were stopping for everybody? Because they now know you can stop for people to pass. Because we see an old woman waiting and they will just, everything. And I know, I stopped them. When I started, we had this motorcycle rider. So anyway, I didn't know what they were, the value they were adding until the vehicle, their motorcycle spoiled. And they went for repair and they gave me the bill. So I said, okay, they should come and actually tell me why we need it. Because they're actually causing just confusion in the road. So when they said, I said, you know what? Find out whether the remaining two have anybody can buy it. So we sell it. So we don't need it again. So throughout my 8 years, we didn't use it. Because they were adding no value and everything. There were little things that people were doing. And I tell people that they won't understand. We shot the cost of everything. We had a stand like this. They said we're going to be carrying whoever the government is speaking. You receive their hand. And I said, well, so what does it do? Does it add anything to what I'm going to say? They said, no. So okay, don't worry. If we go to any place, don't have a problem, we'll speak from anywhere they have. Don't carry anything. So everything we were doing was, so you can't do those things to be able to find incentive to support a critical area, which is entrepreneurship, which only the youth can drive. So there's a hope. Involving youth in politics today is not easy because some of the youths, themselves have got it wrong. They've now become tools in the transactional politics of Nigeria. So people pay them to cause confusion. As I'm here now, go to the social media, all those that are being paid 20,000, 40,000 monthly to abuse your youth, whom you are fighting for their life, because at over 60, I have just few years to go. But we can get it right because there's an opportunity there.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to recognize this gentleman here, and in the middle here, and then I think this lady over on the aisle. I was going to say lady in green, but that accounts for like half of the audience. Green is a favorite color. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome, Mr. Peter. My name is Charles Afamo, and I'm from the Board of the United States. Good to see you again. My question is boiled on two words: state capture. Nigeria today has been completely captured by people that are less than 1,000 of 300 and 200 and something million people. They have captured INEC, Independence Commission. They have captured the army. They have captured the police. They have captured DSS. Every single security apparatus in Nigeria has been captured by these few individuals that are less than 1,000, controlling the whole country. You can get them out. You can vote. Your vote won't count. They commit crimes. The police cannot charge them. They have captured the judiciary. So where's the hope? Where's the hope going to come from? So my question is this, and maybe, I don't know, if you have the answers. How do we approach this? Get them out? Thank you.
Thank you. Here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Marshall. I'm currently a final year MPH MBA down in here. And it's quite lovely to have you around. I know we've been talking a lot about politics, leadership, and stuff like that, but I want to dive a bit into policy. And I want to be quite as practical. Recently, you've been talking a lot about healthcare reforms, some of which I have followed. I'm one of those who think that your healthcare reforms while you were a governor, because I'm a medical doctor, were quite controversial. And of course, I do know, for example, doctors were on strike for like 13 months. And, many of that was because of the partnership we were trying to do with the religious institutions and stuff like that. But when you look back to that issue, right, and how it was managed, I want to believe it was a really challenging period for the state in terms of healthcare access. So when you look back, do you think that, the issue could have been handled quite differently? And then how do you reflect on that in terms of lessons from there going forward with how you now view healthcare reform in the country as a whole, particularly with health workforce, because that issue was a very, it was a health workforce issue with the commerce thing. So your reflection on it, what do you think? Were there lessons do you think you could have handled it differently? And then how do you apply those lessons to the future? Okay, thank you.
And then finally, and unfortunately, we're almost at time, but we do have a reception, and we'll all be here a little while afterwards, but this will be the final question. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. My name is Henrietta Gomere. I'm an alumni of SAIS and a Nigerian. My question is to Your Excellency, how do you think we can make democracy work for Nigeria, considering the fact that many of these countries that we've used as examples are actually communist countries? where a lot of policy and decision making is centralized at the highest level. And for a country like Nigeria, having so many interests to balance, especially things like federal character and all of that, is that an impediment to our development and our growth? And also issues around media, just like the popular saying that says too many eyes spoils the broth. I think trying to carry everyone along is sort of kind of slowing us down as a nation. So can we have an hybrid or tailored democracy for countries like Nigeria? Because it seems like the kind of democracy that we have adopted is actually not as effective for us as for Western nations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the issue of state capture. There has been state capture all over the world. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. What is peculiar to Nigeria is the refusal of the people to resist it. It's the refusal of the people to resist it. I was the first governor to go to court and stay for 3 years to become a governor. I was impeached the same month with 2 other governors. They left the country. I went and challenged the rascality in court. I said, no, it's wrong. And I go back. As the first governor to change the electoral date. Because I stayed 3 years before becoming governor, when they did election in my state, I said, no, my term is not over. The constitution says 4 years. And the same thing is what I've been doing since. Whether it's in 2023 or anything, it's just saying, we're wrong. We cannot continue this way. We must try something else. So what we need to do is for Nigerians to say, we want things to go rightly. We voted culture. We voted tribe. We voted religion. Let's vote competence. Let's try that one and see whether it will work. That's what has been happening everywhere. We can get ordinary people. We don't need sophisticated. Look at what happened in India with Modi. He's somebody who started his life as an entrepreneur in a small village and got up. Look at what we did in Indonesia and everything. So there's business to learn. I believe in learning and comparing ourselves every day. And that brings me even to what our sister said earlier about our coach. You just need to learn. I'm not comparing us with America. I said it when I was doing my delivery. No. I'm looking at other comparable countries that were better off a few years ago. And now look at where they are. And we're still trapped in the process of the past and complain of state capture. People in INEC are human beings. People in the state police, everything is human beings. If we go to that electoral place and say, this election must count, they'll count it. Quote me anyone, they'll count it there. And we can disagree and say, no, we didn't vote for you. We can. But what happens? Suddenly, somebody that is not voted for, who did not receive our vote, suddenly comes out and starts running around all over the place because we have developed a culture of celebrating wrong things. And it's not running around. He wants to come here, everybody assembles us, even Nigerians there who will say, no, we don't want to meet him. He comes there and he says, I guarantee you, yes, sir. We know how we came and everything. So we can go on and everything, even with what they do with terms of coming here, buying houses and everything. Somebody you know that doesn't have money yesterday to buy a house is coming here to buy. It's Nigerians that are introducing to where he buys the house. And they are complaining. No, but you should call police and say this man has come. So we should do the right thing. If one of us you talked about what I did in health. If I have the same opportunity, I will do exactly the same thing. No change. And I need to tell you what happened and what is happening there. When I became governor, I was the first person you ever bought an ambulance, a hospital? What we see today, even governors move around with ambulance. When I asked them whether people moved around with one, I bought one for each local government, 30 vehicles, and I want to take this record. And I launched it. They gave me phone number, how I can call it, and they will come. I went to an event in Onitsha. I live in Onitsha, so I came back, went for an event. A traditional ruler, I'm going to call it now, traditional ruler of the community called that lesbian. His wife was very sick, actually. His wife had died in the house. Right? He left where I was with him in a gathering and said, I'm running home. My wife is sick. When that event finished about 10:30 p.m. in the evening, I told him I'm not going to talk, I'm going to that man's house. And that man was just sitting with me and said his wife is sick. So I cannot go. That's not good. My people say we must go. I said, no, I'm going there. I got there. I met a doctor who actually told me, no man is coming. The man didn't know. So I said, I'm going to take the man to the hospital. So I called that ambulance, which I bought. Me. I didn't say any other person bought. I bought them. I called them. That with that number they gave me, which we used to do the test that day. I called them. When we did the launching, supposed to react in 15 minutes. I called them sitting down there for 1 hour. I didn't see any. They didn't even call back. Me, the governor, not ordinary people. Me who launched it, didn't see any. I waited for another time. I didn't see any. I called the hospital, called the Bolton hospital. In 15 minutes, the ambulance was there. And we carried the woman into the ambulance. I told the Shasha not to follow me because I know what's wrong. Say, let me go. Say, no, you go on. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to go to the hospital myself. And I did. I went there myself. Of course, the doctors told me, he sent in the doctor and asked the stage and everything. I said, okay, let's just try whatever we can do and all that. We were there till about 2, 3 a.m. By the time they certified everything, took out to motion. Nobody called. They didn't call that ambulance. I don't call back. Oh. I got the next day and I told the commissioner, please, we're investing in the wrong place. We didn't have school of nursing. We were talking about going to have school of nursing. When I know that growing up, they were told that in my primary school, the first midwife in Nigeria was produced by a place they call Iyenu. The first midwife. They still have school of nursing and midwife. That is not accredited. They have one in a place they call Waterside. They have one in a place they call St. Joseph's Adadi, schools of nursing and midwife. They have one in a place they call, let me remember again, A Lady of Lost in Ihala. So there's a lot of them owned by the missionaries that were not accredited. And I said to the commissioner, we've done a wrong investment. Let's go and partner with these people. Because what we took to the public hospitals and everything were not being used. They were being diverted to private. So let's go and support these people who are doing the right thing. And we went to invest in them. Go to Anambra State today, whichever state you are from. Anambra have the best of hospitals. Let me tell you, Iyenu is not a teaching hospital by the university. Boromir is not a teaching hospital being used by the university. So these were places we went to invest. We have more schools of nursing than any other state in Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are open things you can go and verify. Because of that, we partnered with places like Diocese of Anichi, the Anglican Communion, then built a school of nothing for scattered. It's doing very well now. And all that and all that. Because we chose that we can't go this way. It happened to us in the school. I put money in school in my first year. In YF, we were number 26, or it was number, I think we were 25, or it was 26. The next year, I told the commissioner, we are putting money wrongly. Let's return this school to the owners, the church. So it's not only in here they were strike. The schools were shut down equally. They said they won't go to school again until I leave. It was President Jonathan's intervention that made them open this. They came and said, oh, the teachers on strike and everything. And when the federal government set up a panel to look into it, I was there. I said, we hired you as a teacher. And we're paying you as a teacher. But we return school to this person who is the owner. What is your own? Your contract is teaching. You go and teach because it's not the only owner of school. Why would you teach with them? They say, oh, now they're this. Supposing they don't want them. I said, then you're not teaching well. They don't want you. Because we are looking for teachers. One of the schools we had issues. We took in a school. The church went and brought the references, I think from Ireland. He came. He said, even to me, Governor, he said, I will have one student outside boarding school. There are 1,800 students. And I said, sister, how you know? He said, all of them must live with me here. And everything. 3 months after, the teachers are quarreling with her. They say, oh, she comes to the class when you're teaching to supervise. He comes to stay in the gate. He comes to... I said, what type of thing is this? You're a teacher. The principal is supervising you. Once we finish this, when we're eating, I come and show you what the sister wrote me just 2 months ago about how well the school is doing. He said, God help you, started all this. I told him, I said, if you don't want to teach in that school, come with us, all of you, to our schools in different villages. Because the woman told me, these are traders, they don't want to teach, they don't know what they're teaching. So go by after 3 years, 2011, 12, and 13, we're number 1 in the entire country. So when you want to get things right, people say they're going on strike. Striking for what? It is just all those hospitals, all the ambulances we bought, go to here and go there. You see, donated by people. Because what happened? They are still using it. That one we bought, that nowhere can I've never seen the trace of it in my life. So you cannot allow that. If people don't want to work, we deal with people who want to work. Health is health. It doesn't matter when you're sick. They can take you to the missionary one, they can take you to the public one. Same thing with teachers. When we started buying computer for secondary schools, when we started trying to buy vehicles, generators for school, they said, oh, this one is private school. This one, I said, there are private children here. There are children that are going to those schools. So we must buy computer for everybody. Go to HP. Anambra, maybe today, have bought the highest number of laptops, desktop for all the schools. We are the first state to put internet in all our schools. You can go, if you Google Microsoft, I say the relationship with us started Microsoft 2013 under P2. Because we said, no, we have to, and we didn't bother which one is private. If you have private and it's working, like I told you in Anichi, we had to give the bishop money, it was so hard work. To start School of Nursing from scratch. Go there is one of the best school of nursing in the entire country. So if we see somebody who wants to utilize money well, we'll give the person. Why put it in a place where no, it's not going to work? That's the problem of Nigeria. I want to invest like the young guy is saying. We want to give people who are talented money to do something, not dump it in somebody whose ideas have left his brain and is wasting everybody's time. No. So it is not about, we didn't want.
Then we have.
Someone talk about democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one democratic country. I don't think the countries that compare with that democratic, only China, maybe. Indonesia is democratic, and I'm happy that Peter Lewis had been Indonesia. Vietnam is. You cannot have a situation where in 1990, per capita in Vietnam is $99. $99. In fact, Vietnamese entire GDP is under $10 billion in 1990. In 1990, not 1990, with per capita of $99. And Nigeria, as at that time, was almost $55 billion, almost $60 billion. And then today, Vietnamese GDP is almost $500 million, with about $450 billion, with $4,700 per capita. And we are below 1,000. It's unacceptable. They are democratic. What they did is very simple. We can do it. They didn't even have oil. No. They're not coming from oil. They export more footwear, probably like 50% of what we earn from oil. It's like Bangladesh. Bangladesh exports more clothing than we earn from oil. We have so many tailors all over Nigeria and everything. It's encourage them. Talented people. So there's so many things we're doing wrongly. We need to learn it. They're democratic. These are studies that are empirical and clear. It has nothing to do with being non-democratic. It has to do with bad leadership.
So on that note, I'll end with both a thanks and an apology. We have a highly engaged and very accomplished audience, and we could obviously field 20 or 30 more questions, and we would be here for a long time. But Peter Obi has other engagements this afternoon, and we want to have some time for interactions and maybe one-on-one with audience members. This has been a thoughtful, wide-ranging, and very impassioned conversation about leadership and about the Nigerian prospect. So please join me in thanking our guest, and then afterwards, please enjoy reception and conversation.
Thank you very much, every person. Professor Peter Lewis, always underrate himself. This whole thing is about Professor Peter Lewis. We can't thank you enough. He was my professor. He was my major professor over 12 years ago when we started this. And Professor Peter Lewis, we really can't thank you for the intellectual harvest, which has been focused on Nigeria and Africa, and we keep improving and focusing. And I think our very good friend, I find it difficult addressing. There was a time he came to chair an occasion for me in Abia State, and he said, "Any day you call me, Your Excellency, I'll stop talking to you." So I don't know how to address him. I had gone for a funeral in Anambra State, Oka, and then I was walking on the street after paying my condolences, just like you did. And there was this black bus stopped by me, and I told the person I was with that they had come. I spoke to I don't have kidnapping value, so I jumped the gutter. I jumped the gutter on Oka Road, and then the bus stopped, and two people who were, I think, a security was saying, "Oh, you are being caught." I said, "You didn't see me." And then there was Peter. "Hey, come, let's go." I said, "I've been there. I'm setting up in the streets of Oka. Come and see the tumultuous crowd following and cheering Okude. And I said, I've never seen any person who is so sure, loved by his people. So, Mr. P2B, on behalf of the faculty, through Professor Peter Lewis, and the students, my colleagues, MIPP here, we want to thank you so very much too. Also, part of Tommy, to Tony Okeka and his wife, Rebecca, Dr. CY, Oji and Adari wife, Casey and Ogo, Dr. Kano, Professor Nena Kano, Chief Onka, Dr. Chukewachukwu, Ochi, all of you, we can thank you. Dr. Wabisi Elenenta, Elene, Barrister Kegwe, we see all of you, Dr. Tony Keme, and Franca, Amadi Oga, I don't know why I saw Franca behind you. And Prof. Peter has a few things to give you guys. This is from Peter to you. And then Joy, Morris, and Erica. These two ladies, these two ladies have worked so tirelessly. When we came here for the MIPP event 2 weeks ago, they brought me up and said, come and see. I'm going to give you, so you have, if you open this light, you see the Capitol, White House. So you are in a very special room with a panoramic view of this wonderful edifice of size. So from Peter to Joy, this is Erica, come up too. And my niece is in the audience. She is a councilwoman. She's an American, but she's also a Nigerian. She's the highest Nigerian elected official in America. And Councilwoman Roxanne Ndebomado, she sent me a text because she has an event she's calling that Peter needs to be, so we'll leave it shortly. Professor Malika, we call her Rose from Kent State University, to recognize you too. Thank you. So please, thank you so very much.
Enjoy.
Now I got a picture of the three of you. Okay, go.
Sorry, I forgot Professor G. Aparoji. He's actually the chairman in the US of Peter's party.
Tried. Yeah. It's too much. Yeah, take it easy.
All right, I think we've come to the end of it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I appreciate it. I go see you now on the next, later on in the evening. I'll see you guys. Yeah, so you guys can catch it on replay. There are some nuggets that Peter will be dropped that we're going to talk about. Exactly. Kene, you rush come. You never even watch her for beginning. They say slam dunk already. Eh? Yeah, I like some of his take. MVPs. Yep. I think PO is ready. I like the way he's sounding now. Not every time senior brother, elder brother. You don't retire that grammar now. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. All right then. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.